Alright, we are going to work on section 1.3 for Algebra 2, solving linear equations. So the first thing we need to talk about is, well, what is a solution? What does it mean to solve? To solve an equation, you want to get the variable all by itself on one side of the equal sign. So remember, an equation versus an expression. Equation has an equal sign, expression does not. So you get the variable by itself, and then you find a number that makes the solution, or makes the problem true. So here's an example. Let's solve. First thing we need to do is we need to get x by itself. So to get x by itself, we need to get rid of that plus 9, subtract 9 from both sides. Those cancel each other out, which is what we want. We're left with 4x equals 12. Next step is we want to get rid of that 4 in front, so we really want to make it a 1. So divide by 4, do the opposite of multiplying because 4 times x equals 12. Those cancel out and really make it 1x equals, well, what's 12 divided by 4? X equals 3. That would be the solution. Let's solve, or let's plug it in to see if we did that correctly. And the way we plug it in is we take our 4 times, now we put our 3 in, plus 9. Does that, question mark, equal 21? Well, let's simplify this as we go. So 4 times 3 is 12, plus 9, does that equal 21? Well, I think we all can see that yes, indeed, 12 plus 9 equals 21, which does equal 21. Check. Our answer works. Perfect. So let's try another one here where we have negative 13 equals 7x plus 41. So first thing I need to do, even though the variable's on the right side, I'm going to move this 41 over. So negative 13 plus 41, negative 41 plus 41, those cancel out. That means we have 7x left on the bottom. We need to do negative 13 plus 41, which will be a positive 28. Need to divide by 7 here. Divide by 7, those go away. So we have 4 equals x. Now me personally, Mr. OCD, I like to flip-flop those, so really it becomes x equals 4. And again, we're going to go and we're going to plug them in to check and make sure our answers, they work. So negative 13, does that equal, I'm going to put a line there, does that equal 7 times, what was it, 4 minus 41? Well, negative 13, does it equal 7 times 4 is 28 minus 41. Again, we'll do that math. Negative 13 does equal negative 13. It works out, so our answer works. All right, I'm going to have you guys try this last one on that page by yourself. I'm going to pause it real quick. Hope I didn't throw you for too much of a loop when I had a variable on both sides, but here's the answer I got. Check your work. If you made any mistakes, correct it. All right, now we're going to solve with fractions. Everybody's favorite fractions, right? Well, first thing here is really, when we have a fraction x over 4, that's the same thing as x divided by 4. So the way we want to think of when we're solving this is the opposite of our order of operations. We're unraveling it, unwrapping it, so we're going to do the last thing first. So minus 9, we can get rid of that by adding 9 to both sides. So we have x divided by 4 equals 2. Now it's x over 4, it's a fraction, but we really have divided by. So we can multiply this 4 over 1, and if you notice 4x over 4, well, those would go away. And we need to also multiply this by 4 over 1, which really ends up getting us x equals 8. Now we got to plug that in to check, make sure. If we plug it in, 8 divided by 4 is 2. 2 minus 9 is negative 7. It works out perfectly. So let's show you another example here. If we have this, again, that 7 there, it's a positive 7, so we can get rid of that first by subtracting 7 from both sides. That goes away. We're left with negative 2/3 x equals negative 4. Now another way we could do this, if you notice I multiplied by 4 over 1. Really, x over 4 is the same thing as 1/4 x. We can multiply by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 2/3 is, negative 2/3 will be negative 3/2. And we need to multiply it over here by negative 3/2 again. And I'm going to put that over 1. I want you guys to notice what happens when I multiply across. Remember, doing our fractions, we multiply across. We get negative times a negative is a positive, so 3 times 2 is 6, over 2 times 3 is 6x, equals, and again over here we have a negative 4 times negative 3, so we're going to get 12 over 1 times 2, which is 2. Now we can do some simplifying, and we end up, well, that makes it to 1, and this becomes, or 12 divided by 2 is 6, so now we're left with x equals 6. Let's plug it in to see if that works. Well, 2/3 times 6 is really 2/3 times 6 over 1, so it'll be 12 over 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 7 minus 4 is 3. It works out just fine. So, again, remember to follow the opposite of order of operations when you guys are doing that. So when you look at this problem here, if we're solving this, opposite of order of operations, really, I want to make sure I get everything simplified fully before I do anything. So I'm going to distribute that through there. I'm going to get 8b minus 12 minus 3b equals 10. Now I want to combine my like terms. So I have the b's here. I'm going to make it 5b minus 12 equals 10. Now's where we can solve it because we have everything on one side simplified. So we need to simplify this side first. And this side was already simplified. The 10, that's already simplified, so we don't need to simplify it there. Now we can't simplify this anymore. 5b minus 12, we can't go any further. So instead, let's add 12 to both sides. So we get 5b equals 22. Last but not least, we need to divide by 5. And I know what you guys are saying, oh my goodness, that's not going to be a pretty number. It's okay. You're not always going to get perfect numbers. So really, our answer is going to be b equals 22/5. But we need to make that into a mixed number now because that's an improper fraction. So b equals 4 and 2/5. How many 5s go into 22? Well, we can multiply 5 times 4 gets 20. How many are left? 2. All right. So now we already did a problem like this, but variables on both sides. It's just the same thing. We just got to make sure we move all the x's over to one side and all the numbers over to one side. So I'm going to first move this the positive 2x over there. Simply, I just have to get rid of that positive 2x. How do you get rid of positive 2x? You subtract 2x. Subtract 2x from both sides. So 5x minus 2x, 3x plus 2. These canceled out, so now we have a positive 5 over there. But I don't even need to write that plus there anymore because we know that it's a positive number. Now I'm going to move the 2 over there, and to move it over I need to get rid of it. Subtract 2, subtract 2. So we get 3x, those go away, equals 3. Last step, get rid of that times 3 by dividing by 3. Well, if you look at that, that goes away, but it doesn't just disappear. What's 3 divided by 3? X equals 1. All right, I want you guys to try that last problem on the right there by yourself. Now you guys might have done a couple things a little different, but you should have still ended up with the same answer of negative 8/3 or negative 2 2/3. All right, here are some more problems for you guys to try. You guys can try them on your own real quick. I'll put the answers up here shortly. Go ahead and try those on your own. All right, go ahead and check your answers here. Pause it if I go too fast, but you guys should check your answers. Notice you could do a couple things different ways. Do different things first, but you should end up with the same answer. All right, let's talk about perimeter. If we know the perimeter of a rectangle, that's a rectangle because opposite sides are congruent and there's a 90-degree angle there. So we know that it's a rectangle. We know the opposite sides are congruent because it shows with the 2 marks there. So this is 2x plus 3 as well, and this is x plus 2. So we could go through and we could simply add 2x plus 3 plus x plus 2 plus 2x plus 3 plus x plus 2. We know the perimeter is 46, and we could put those together. But I'm not going to do that because I know that I have 2 of the 2x's plus 3's. I know I have 2 of the x plus 2's. So I'm going to do 2 times x plus 2 plus 2 times 2x plus 3. And that together is going to equal perimeter, which is 46 because we add up all the sides. So that's going to make it 2x plus 4 plus 4x plus 6 equals 46. simplify this left side of the equation, so we get 6x plus 10 equals 46. Now we have everything simplified, so let's start moving things over. I want to get rid of that. So we get 6x equals 36. Get rid of the 6, so we divide by 6. And we get x equals 6. Now if we have to go plug it in, let's find the actual side. So if we have 2 times 6 plus 3, it's really 12 plus 3, which equals 15 for this side. That means this side is also 15. Here we can do this one easy. 6 plus 2, that's going to equal 8, which means this side is also going to be 8. Let's make sure this works. 8 plus 8 is 16. 15 plus 15 is 30. Put those together, we get 46. You guys can pause or try to do this problem here yourself. Here's the answer I got. Check your answer, make sure you got it right. Again, you might have done it a little bit differently, but make sure you did it correct is the main thing. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about some problem solving, which is really word problems. So you are ordering t-shirts for a catalog. Each t-shirt costs $15. The cost of shipping is $6 no matter how many you order. That kind of gives it away. It's always going to be $6. The total cost is $111. How many t-shirts did you order? So we have some interesting information there. So it's $6 no matter what. It's each shirt costs $15, and our total is $111. Well, if it's $15 per t-shirt, I'm going to make a variable and I'm going to call it T. That equals the number of t-shirts I bought. All right. So now we have our equation. We can fill it in. So it's $15 per every t-shirt I bought, plus the $6 no matter what I buy, because that's my shipping cost. And that equals my total I spent, which is $111. Now we have to do a solve from there. Subtract 6. So we get 15t equals 105. Bring that over here. So 15t equals 105. Divide by 15. Those cancel. So then we're going to get t equals 7 t-shirts. So our total is, and we need to actually answer the question, 7 t-shirts. All right. Now I want you guys to try this word problem on these 2 word problems on your own, and I'll give you guys the answers shortly. Here's the answer to the first problem. If you need to pause it to check your work, pause it now, please. Check your answer, make sure you got it right. And here is the answer to the second problem. Again, pause the video if you need to check your answer and make sure you got it right or see where you went wrong. So quickly, I'm going to give you guys the option to do the challenge problems. You guys can pause right now, try these problems, and I'll put up the answers quickly for you. All right, here are your answers for that. So I'm going to scroll down for you so you can see them all. All right, now a way to get rid of your guys' most hated things you guys are working with, and what is the worst part about equations that I know everybody hates? It's fractions. Everybody hates fractions. Well, you shouldn't hate fractions, and not everybody does, but I'm guessing most of you guys hate fractions. So I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to get rid of all the fractions. All we have to do is I'm going to circle all the fractions. Well, right now we only have one fraction. And I'm going to think about, what do I have to multiply every single piece by to get rid of that? Well, I need to multiply everything by 5. And if we do this, really we're going to take this, and it's going to be 20 over 5x plus 5 times 8 is 40 equals 5 times 20 is 100. Now if you look, well, 20 divided by 5, that's really 4x plus 40 equals 100. I want you to notice right there, we had a 4/5 and we multiplied by 4. Well, that makes that number go there. And look at that. That's a heck of a lot easier to look at. I'm sure you guys are looking and thinking that's so much easier. Subtract 40, and we get 4x equals 60. Divide by 4, and you get x equals 15. Easy peasy, right? All right, let's go over to this next one. Again, what do I need to multiply to get rid of? Well, I only have one fraction, so I'm going to multiply each piece by 5 again. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 2 is 10. And now since we have that 5 on the bottom, really it cancels out that 5 on the bottom, so it's going to be plus negative x, which is really the same thing as minus x, but I'll leave it this way. I'm going to subtract 10. So then we have 20, really that equals negative x, divide by negative 1 to get rid of that negative, and we'll end up with negative 20 equals x, and again I like to flip-flop, x equals negative 20. Now let's check our answer to make sure we got this right. So I'm going to go back to my original problem to check the answer. So we're going to do 4/5 times 15 plus 8 equals 20. Well, 4/5, I'm going to make that over 1. 4 times 15 is 60 divided by 5 plus 8 equals 20. Well, 60 divided by 5 is 12 plus 8 is 20. Does that work? Well, sure. 20 definitely equals 20, and I'm sorry, I should have put my question mark there because we were testing to make sure they worked, and they did indeed work. Let's try the same thing over on this next one where we have 6 equals 2 plus negative 20 over 5. So again, we're going to do 6 equals 20 plus, well, negative 20 is going to be positive 20 divided by 5 is really going to be 4, and 20 plus 4 is 6. So again, it worked out perfectly. I'm going to let you guys try, or I'm going to do a couple more problems, and then I'll let you guys try them a little bit more. So first thing we need to do is we have two fractions here. Well, we have two fractions. We can't just multiply by one number, so all we have to do is find the greatest common factor between the two. The least common multiple between the two, LCM. So what numbers do 8 and 6 multiply to? If you guys don't remember how to do this and you can't do it in your head, well, let's list out the multiples of each of them. So 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. I know 8 times 6 is 48, but is that the least common multiple? 6, 12, 18, 24. Uh-oh, I got that one right there. 24 is my least common multiple. So I need to multiply each piece by 24. Multiply those through to each of these. We'll end up with 24 over 8t plus 24 over 6t equals 24 times 7, which these can end up being 24 divided by 8 is 3t plus 4t equals 24 times 7. Well, 20 times 7 is 140. 7 times 4 is 28, so 168. Now we put those together, we get 7t equals 168. Divide by 7. Oh, good golly, we already know what this is because we just did that math. T equals 24. That one worked out nicely. So let's try one with 3 on there now. I'll check the solutions in a second here. Don't worry, I didn't forget about that. Now we have 3 numbers, 3, 6, and 2. 3, 6, and 2, well, our least common multiple of those is actually 6, so I need to multiply each by 6. So I multiply 2/3 x times 6, and I'll get 12/3 x plus 36 equals 6x minus 6/2. Now we simplify from there, and we get 4x plus 5 equals 6x minus 3, and simply solve from here. So I'm going to add 3. We get 4x plus 8 equals 6x. Subtract 4x. And we get 8 equals 2x. Divide by 2. X equals 4. There we go. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to plug both of these back in to make sure they work. So I'm going to go back over here, and we're going to do 1/8 times 24 plus 1/6 times 24. And does that equal 7? Sorry for losing space there. Well, this will be 24/8 plus 24/6. Does that equal 7? 24, that would be 3 plus 4. Does that equal 7? Well, yep. We all can see that that does indeed equal 7. That worked. Let's go down to this one now, where we're going to plug in 4. So 2/3 times 4 plus 5/6 equals 4 minus 1/2. Well, let's see here. 2/3, that'd be 8/3 plus 5/6 equals, well, I can't do that one, so I'm going to change this one to 8/2 minus 1/2. Now I need to convert these guys to make sure we get the common denominator. So it's going to be 16/6 plus 5/6 equals 8/2 minus 1/2. So we get 21/6 equals 7/2. Well, now we need to do some reducing. Right now it doesn't look like it's the same, but we can reduce each of these by 3. 21 divided by 3 is indeed 7. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So then you look at that, and we do end up with 7/2. Now I should have gone back, and I'm going to make my question marks because I shouldn't have those up there without question marks. So I'm not going to get you guys one to test on this one, but please try your own on this one. That's all we're going to talk about for section 1.3. It is split up on our Schoology site as a multiple days. So take your time, rewatch the video. Let me know if you have any questions.